Be blessed. I am Father Jeffrey Waldrop, and it is an honor to be a voice of He who is the voice. Double what you have. Now, I'm not talking about doubling your investment. I'm not talking about doubling the size of your house. I'm not talking about doubling the things that you have. No, I'm talking about how do we double, how do we multiply, if you want to say, the very gifts and the talents God has given us. So if you're a farmer, or if you like to sing, or if you are a mechanic, or if you are a business person, or if you're more of a thinker, or if you're more of a feeler, if you're more extrovert, or you're more introvert, how can God double the gifts that you have been given? I say that because I think it's so important to allow the God to multiply our gifts and talents, because if we don't, the old devil tips us and gets away from our gifts. It gets us away from our gifts and our talents. So if we're a farmer, we get so focused into farming that we forget about the other people around us. Or if we're a mechanic, we spend all these hours working and helping other people out, and then we don't even help our own family out. Or, if we have a singing voice and you think, well, I know I have a great voice, but, I donated it a long time ago, so I don't have to do my singing voice right now. Or if you're a teacher, and you're just losing your energy and not as excitement in being a teacher. See, our gifts and our talents, when we're not constantly giving them to the Lord to multiply, to double, well, then all of a sudden we sink in and we don't use our gifts and the talents like we could. I think of John's Gospel, chapter 6, verse 1 through 15, where the disciples, all they had was just a few barley loaves and 2 fish. And they had all these crowds of people gathered out there. And they didn't know how in the world they were going to feed them. And so they were holding on to just a few little gifts they had, and Jesus says, bring them to me. He takes them, blesses them, and then distributes them, and they multiply to care for everybody's needs. God does the same thing for you and for me. He takes our gifts and wants to take our gifts, and He wants to take our talents. He wants us to offer them up to Him so that He can multiply them, so that He can double them, so that we can go and love and serve those around us. Every once in a while I run into people that, they're so loving and they're so prayerful people and they're so giving of everything they do and everything that they're about. You know why they do that? Because they're constantly putting themselves out there and letting the Lord multiply and double their gifts and their talents. Here in our parish, when all of this pandemic began, we went and we knew eventually when we came back to public masses that we're going to need a mask, So we put it out there to the parish that we needed some people to make 400 masks so that we could have them there when people came back to church, that if they didn't bring a mask, we would have masks to provide for them. Oh my gosh, you would not believe it. We have them all shapes and sizes and colors and designs. And these ladies and some of you watching this video made those videos. Thank you on the side. But we go and those masks went and they would bring in like 25 of them. And then it was like, well, we ran out of supplies, but we're going to get some more supplies and we're going to make 25 more. And they just kept coming and coming and coming. And we got multiple masks that will last us for a long, long time. But those ladies, why did they do it? Because they had been given a gift and they allowed God to multiply and double their gifts. I think today, as we come before the Lord, as we are so grateful for the gifts and the talents that God has given me, the gifts and talents that God has given you, I think today we are called to celebrate and to give thanks, because all we have to do is give the little that we have been given, give it to the Lord, and the Lord will bless, multiply, and double our gifts. I think as we come before the Lord, we reflect on how do we double what we have. I'm Father Jeffrey Waltrip, and it is an honor to be a voice of He who is the voice.